A Republican friend of mine likes to lament Republicans, as you can see by the graphic, are stupid. His words, not mine. Specifically, that Republicans always manage to screw up perfectly good opportunities like right now. Consider this. Inflation is still high. The stock market is in the tank. Big companies will likely lay off tens of thousands of employees in January, not just tech companies, normal everyday companies, Ford, big motor companies. The crisis at the border continues to explode. President Biden's own party started splintering over Ukraine aid. His student loan forgiveness program might end at the Supreme Court. I could go on. But this isn't a story about Democrats or President Biden's problems. It's about Republicans and their response to it. What are they doing when President Biden is having all of these issues? Republicans are fighting amongst themselves, not just on one issue, but two. First, Kevin McCarthy should be the Speaker of the House by any and all reasonable measure, except 5 Republicans say they are never Kevin. And if they hold firm, McCarthy will not win in January. It'll splinter the Republican caucus and create a huge mess. McCarthy needs almost every Republican because of their razor-thin majorities. McCarthy can only lose 4 votes and still get the speakership. McCarthy, on the other hand, has plastered letters from 50-plus Republicans calling themselves only Kevin supporters all over the media and leaked them out. The media didn't have to pit Republicans against each other, which the media loves to do. Republicans did it themselves. It's almost like a high school student government election. The never and only camps square off in the cafeteria at noon. George Will's here, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist, NewsNation senior political contributor. Where is somebody like Nancy Pelosi who can rule the caucus with an iron fist?
You just used the magic word. Republicans are about to learn retrospectively just how talented Nancy Pelosi was. This is a story of 2 Californians. From Northern California, we have the champion, Nancy Pelosi, who held together her caucus, which is at least as fractious as the Republican caucus. On the other hand, you have from Bakersfield, California, you have Kevin McCarthy, who's not as experienced and probably not as talented, to be frank. And they're about to understand just how difficult this is to govern in the House of Representatives with a small majority. Also, Leland, the Republicans who are insurgents against McCarthy, and for nobody, there's no alternative to McCarthy at this point. They have been in the peculiar position of watching Senator Sinema of Arizona and Senator Manchin of West Virginia be the swing votes in a closely knotted Senate. And they've said, this is fun, and this can be a high leverage situation. So now we're going to see how well, if they can do it as skillfully as Sinema and Manchin have done in the Senate for the Democrats.
Let's listen to Matt Gaetz. We'll see if you think he could be possibly anywhere near as skillful. Take a listen.
What everyone's talking about right now is the speaker's race, because Kevin McCarthy does not have 218 votes to be speaker. My colleague Andy Biggs, who is just been reelected to his 4th term, has announced that he is still a candidate for Speaker of the House. I intend to vote for him.
Do any of these never Kevin people have that kind of Sinema or Manchin skill?
Look, Kevin McCarthy is just shy of 218 votes. Congressman Biggs has reached his ceiling at 5 votes. This is absurd. Kevin McCarthy will be the next speaker. Now, Leland, a speaker doesn't even need to be a member of the House. They could do something sensible. I know that's a radical thought, but they could go out and get, Mitch Daniels, former governor of Indiana, president of Purdue, to come in and be Speaker of the House. But they won't. They're going to pick one of their own, and it's going to be Kevin McCarthy.
All right. The prediction has been made, and the election will happen in January. We will discuss it then, of course. John Boehner, of course, got a lot of lips flapping when he made his trip up to the House. This isn't the only Republican infighting. Put this in perspective for us. Ronna McDaniel now, the long knives are out for her at the Republican National Committee. There was a big leak out with some of the spending at the RNC. I thought it was interesting. Fox News has been taking the side of Hamid Dillon, a Republican who's on the left side of the screen. Again, where does this infighting in Republicans come from, and how does it help, and why don't Democrats seem to do it?
Well, Republicans right now don't have a leader of the party.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.